Ik heb met onze enige golden boy, Anthony Nesty, een interessant gesprek gehad. We hebben gesproken over een aantal zaken met betrekking tot Olympische Spelen. En ook andere zaken met betrekking tot sporters die naar de Olympische Spelen gaan. Ook de relatie Nesty en de Surinaamse Zwembond. En ook hoe hij ziet dat zwemmen er op dit moment ervoor staat in Suriname. Laten we samen kijken en luisteren naar hoe Anthony een aantal zaken heeft ervaren en hoe hij ze ook ziet. Anthony, gefeliciteerd met het behouden op de Olympische Spelen. Kan je ons vertellen hoe je deze Spelen hebt ervaren en wat het persoonlijk voor jou heeft betekend?
Ja, nog bedankt natuurlijk. Wel, Olympische Spelen is een groot event, maar it's extra special because I went to school here at the U.S. At high school, went to college at U.S. and lived in the U.S. since '85, and getting the call to coach the U.S. Olympic team, it's a great honor. But the most important thing, you just don't want to go to the Olympics. A lot of kids just go to the Olympics because it's fun. They see other kids, and my job is to when I got placed on the team, the pressure was on me to make sure our guys are prepared, and whichever kids were training with me, the way it works. So let me back up. Is when you go to a training camp like that, they divvy up the squad. So I had eight guys and one female in my group when I got to camp, and we were in Hawaii for 2 weeks, high performance center in Japan for a week, and then in Tokyo for 2 weeks. So again, the job as a coach and as an athlete is not to go there and not be at your best. My job was to coach them up to be at their best, and that was the big, it's always lots of pressure when you go to meets like that, because you're not representing your club team, you're not representing your college team, you're representing the country. So you have extra pressure, not only for the coaches, but also for the athletes to perform at a really high level. And fortunate for us, we had a good plan going into Hawaii and a good plan for the 3 weeks where we were in Japan prior to the games.
Maar deze Spelen waren toch speciaal. Vanwege het feit dus dat COVID een rol heeft gespeeld. In hoeverre heb je een verschil gemerkt vergeleken met andere Spelen waar jij was?
Well, everybody lost a lot of, for us, we lost 3 months here last summer. So knowing that next year you had the Olympic Games, so you have to do things differently when you start back in training. You can't go back to the old way of training, because you're not going to get the results. If you want to get a good results after missing 3 months, you can't go back doing the same thing. So that's where the biggest mistake coaches made when they get their athlete back prior to COVID. So our guys here, we started July 13th, and it wasn't business as usual. It was a little more aggressive starting, and because I felt if we needed to get the results like we did this year, we have to start at a higher level, in which we did. And I was pretty confident, because I know I told you before, I started seeing the pre-COVID fitness level in April, and it took that long, and I couldn't imagine where we were at had I just started the same place like nothing ever happened. So that's the biggest mistake coaches make going into the games. And from my standpoint, I had to make sure we had a good base to compete at that level, because a lot of people were going to make mistakes coaching wise getting their athletes ready. And for us, you have to compete at the trials and you got to compete again in 5 weeks. So I was pretty confident that we've done the work when we started back. It's different. You didn't have any fans or family. So you had to bring, we call it, you got to bring the juice, you got to bring your energy. And especially with a team like the US, you have 26 guys, 26 women on the team, and those guys were in the stands cheering, and they had the most energy out of all the teams there. Because the crowd is not going to be there, so you don't get that lift. So we had to bring the juice to make sure our athletes knew that they had somebody, had the team behind them so they could perform at a high level, if that makes any sense.
Okay. Toen we de vorige keer spraken, zei je dat een coach nooit tevreden is. Gegeven de omstandigheden en wat jullie hebben behaald, zeg je dat je niet tevreden bent of zei je van nee, er zat er meer in?
Well, yes, you're happy, but you can always do better, because you can't just be satisfied with where you're at. Obviously, there were mistakes anywhere. If you look at the races that we swam, Kieran took it out too hard in the 400, struggled a little bit in the middle, and was really good at the end. So strategy kind of takes, it plays a big role. Bobby just waiting to the last 75 meters to kick it on. As a coach, it was exciting, but as a coach, you want the job done before the last 100. So that respect of it, I could have done a lot better with some of those other athletes at the meet, but every coach is in that boat. But the main thing is my job was to take those guys to that meet so they can perform at a high level. And had I not been at their best, it's on me. So the first thing I told those guys, we're going to the meet to go best times, whatever that time is. If you don't go to best times at the Olympics, you're not getting, you are, number one, not where you need to be. And I, as a coach, didn't do the job for you to be where you need to be. So they knew where I was at, and they took it to heart. Because everybody's reputation is on the line, mine, theirs, and especially when you have the microscope on you as a U.S. team, as a U.S. coach, first time U.S. coach. So a lot of pressure, but the preparation here leading up to it, starting in July, I think we broke up the season into many different facets, but I think every step of the way was right. It was tougher though, it was harder for those guys, but the end result, you can't, we did pretty well under the circumstances.
Betekent dit, Anthony, als ik zo naar je luister, dat een zwemmer van jou of van het Olympisch team, als die zwemmer of zwemster zijn of haar persoonlijke record verbetert en geen goud of een medaille behaalt, is het toch een overwinning?
Yeah, if you go your best time at the Olympics, kudos. It's improvement.
Okay.
You can't go to a meet like that and not improve.
Okay. Dus dat is eigenlijk een van de meest belangrijke aspecten. Je moet beter zijn dan je tijd. Dat is
You can go the same time
of
or faster.
Okay.
That is my philosophy.
Heel duidelijk, heel duidelijk.
It's my philosophy in college. And is my philosophy in the summer. Don't waste your time going to meet like that.
Okay.
Just not to be at your best. it's unacceptable to me for an athlete to go to the Olympics and not be at their best or better than their previous best, if that makes any sense.
Duidelijk, heel duidelijk. Het Amerikaans team heeft de meeste medailles behaald op het onderdeel zwemmen. Zie ik 30 totaal. Daarna volgde Australië met 10 minder, 20. Als ik zo kijk dus naar het aantal medailles van de totale Amerikaanse ploeg. De totale ploeg heeft 113 medailles gehaald. En daarvan 30 medailles naar de zwemmers. Dat betekent dus dat jullie een heel grote hap hebben voor wat die selectie betreft. Ligt er hierdoor ook vanwege de traditie een grotere druk op jullie schouders als coaches? En zo.
Oh yeah, you know, without a doubt, we made a bunch of mistakes as coaches too. If you look at some relay orders, you know, some of the relays, we dropped the ball there too. So putting the right guys on the relay, putting the right combination on the mixed relay. And you know, coaches are at fault too. So we kind of left a couple of medals out there that we were supposed to get, but didn't get. So it's you know, there's a lot, as assistants, you feel a lot of pressure, but the pressure was probably on the head coaches more than the assistant coaches. Cause you know, typically US does pretty well at the Olympics. And with COVID, there's always a question mark. How prepared were we? Did we do enough to go 2 shaves back to back and be at their best? So that, I mean, it you know, it's a lot of pressure on the head coaches and the assistants.
Yes, of course. We hebben na de 800 meter, waar Fink als eerste eindigde, hij was 4e, hebben we je voor het eerst zo meegemaakt. Was je ook verrast over jouw eigen uitbarsting? We kennen Anthony niet zo. Kan je ons uitleggen wat er gebeurde?
Well, it's you know, it's a big moment for me, you know. You want a goal as an athlete, you're coaching an athlete who could win the goal if he touches his hand, puts his hand on the wall first, and you know, at 7:45 we kind of knew he was going to win it. So you know, it's just you know, all the, you know, the pressure, the intensity, the moment. It was a good moment for me. Let's put it that way. Hopefully, I didn't make a fool out of myself, but
No.
it was a special moment for me, of course.
Okay. Was het je strategie om hem zo te laten zwemmen? Want in die 1500 meter kwam hij ook van achter. Was het een strategie?
Well, in prelims, he said it, you know, you're at the Olympics, right? And in the prelims, he said, it hurt a little bit. I was like, Bobby, it's going to hurt no matter what, you know? So he was very strategic in the final. I told him it was gonna take 800 meters to win, which it did. Obviously, it's an 800 meter, but the battle was going to go until the end, which it did. I think we had 2 things going for us. I think the pace was such that he could maintain it and stay close to them, and his turns were way better than those other guys. So he would turn and he would just get his momentum off the wall. He would catch him and then maintain. And those guys are faster into the wall, but he was faster coming off the wall. So he gets momentum off the wall. They get momentum in the wall, but you know, it's give or take, right? So I think the level for him was at a really comfortable level, and you know, and I told him, just, you know, it's the same thing for the 800 as the 1500 is going to take towards the end. But he has some great closing speed, as you saw. He has a gear that, you know, the really good athletes go to that gear, and it's a gear that not many people will go to because it's at a really high level. If this is your top level, the really good guys can get to that level. they don't go to it often, but they have to, they would go to it, if that makes sense. And when he had to go to it, he did it. So.
Oké, oké, duidelijk. Houd dit in, Anthony, als we zo kijken naar de verrichtingen die je hebt behaald. Is het automatisch dat we je over 3 jaar weer in Parijs zien als assistentcoach van de selectie van Amerika? Of is dat nog niet duidelijk?
No,
Het hangt van je atleet af, hè?
You know, in our businesses, what have you done for me lately? You know,
Okay.
so there's no guaranteed. You just you just got to keep producing swimmers. You got to produce results. But obviously, if the swimmers, you know, produce great results, my chances of getting on the team are pretty good. But you know, it's a long way away. It's you know, we have to focus on getting back on track. Obviously, we had a good summer behind us, and you know, to finish, you know, we got 3 years through it now. So we got 3 steps, and each year is a step to develop the new guys coming in and women, and develop the guys who are already here to prepare them for the 3 years. So there's no guarantee. So.
Jouw kennende weten we wel dus dat hij ervoor gaat en dat het je zal lukken. Jij geeft niet op.
No, you gotta get the job done in the US, you know that.
Ja. Oké, Anthony, andere zaak. Heb je de Surinaamse verrichtingen gevolgd tijdens de Spelen?
Of course, watch Renzo swim. Obviously, he wasn't as good as he should have been, but you know, the biggest surprise was Jair. You know, it's awesome to see a fellow athlete from Suriname that no one knew, or maybe the cycling word knew about him, but you know, obviously, you know, for him to go to the Olympics, step up like that, it's an awesome to see that he definitely has the talent, and you know, I'm pretty sure he's done the work to get to that meet and go to the meet and perform at that level. Hopefully, you know, the government and the cycling community, you know, the business community will give him all the support he needs. Because if you go to the Olympics with the background he has, getting 4th, you know, who knows what 3 years holds for him. So I hope, you know, I'm hopeful that you know, the government, you know, the cycling community, or I assume there's like the swim association, the Swimmers of Cycling Association, that they give him the proper assistance that he needs financially, equipment wise, and the business community from Suriname. You know, they need to go full in on this kid, because he's a good kid. He goes to the Olympics and get 4th. It's good stuff. So the future is bright for him, and you know, we're going to be pulling for him. I wish him all the best. So.
Weet jij, Anthony, dat na jou hij de enige Surinamer is die ooit een finale heeft gehad in de Olympische Spelen?
Yeah. Of course. It's you know, he's in rare company, but I think he's set up pretty well now, and now we just need to give him the you know, the backing he needs, whether it's you know, I mean, financially. He needs to be in a situation that he shouldn't worry about finances. I think we need to take care of him. We, as in people from Suriname, whether it's the government, the cycling committee, the SOC, the business community, they need to take care of this kid, because he shouldn't have to worry about anything but training and making sure he has the proper equipment, proper training for he to compete at the best level he can compete. So one less thing off his plate. All he needs to focus on and cranking that bike as fast as you can go in training and at that swim meet. So I'm hopeful that they see that in this kid, because not very often do you go to the Olympics and get 4th, let alone, you know, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or top 8 for that matter. So, you know, I'm very proud of him. Suriname should be very proud of him, and we need to give him the resources that he needs to continue in this path of hopefully in 3 years he can be at the top.
Ja, ik denk dus dat het nu wel tot de mensen zal doordringen als iemand als jij, die er hebt gestaan, dit uitlegt van wat het betekent om daar te komen. En jouw woorden zullen zeker ook bijdragen tot ondersteuning voor hem. Een andere kwestie, Anthony. Als je kijkt dus naar de status quo op dit moment van het zwemmen in Suriname. Wat gaat er in je om als je ziet waar we nu staan?
Well, I mean, it's disappointing, of course. I'm a big believer, if to be successful in anything, it starts at the top. Whether it's me as the head coach, I'm the driver of the bus, right? And I have to make sure I act right, I train right, I do things that will prepare the passengers, which is the athletes, perform at the level they need to be. So it's imperative that whoever's on the top in any business or any swim committee, they need to do it because of the athletes, and they need to give them whatever they need to perform at a high level. What that is, everybody knows what that is. You have to have the commitment, you have to have the support, and most importantly, I told our kids during the COVID, obviously everything was kind of slow here, but if you had a chance to swim 30 minutes, it better be the best 30 minutes you can swim. If it's 10 minutes, make sure it's the best 10 minutes. So it's also upon the athletes too. So it's kind of a, mind, body, and spirit, right? So everybody has to be, everybody has to be on the same page for that matter. So I'm hopeful that, we could start developing athletes again like we used to. And developing athletes, I'm a big believer in tough love, because sometimes the athletes they're not doing the things that they need to do to become the best. Sometimes, hey, blood, sweat, and tears, been there, done that. And I think if something we're lacking is the toughness as well, because toughness plays a big part. Because the people we're competing against,
Yep.
They want to kick our behinds, and there's no love lost between us and them. At the end of the race, of course, but prior to the race, during the race, there's no love lost. So the toughness part of it, I think we need to get back to, because if you're going to compete at the level, you got to be the toughest person in the heat, because those other guys and females, they want to win too. So it's,
Tot slot, Anthony. Ik heb besturen van de Surinaamse Zwembond in het verleden en ook nu jou ooit advies gevraagd.
Not in a long time.
Oké. En hoe laat dat jou voelen?
I have a lot on my plate here. I will help any way I can, but I guess things are going pretty well in swimming in Suriname, so I don't have to worry about it. So I have enough things to worry about it. If they need my help, I can help, but obviously I haven't gotten the call, so they don't need my help. So all good.
Duidelijker kon het niet gezegd worden. Ik denk dus dat het goed is dat de mensen heel goed hebben geluisterd waar het om gaat als je bezig bent met topsport. Als je, en een van de meest belangrijke zaken die Anthony heeft aangehaald is voor mij, als je op topniveau bezig bent en je kan je beste tijd niet halen, dan heb je geen recht tot praten of om deel te nemen aan grote competities. Want dat betekent dat je niet vooruit gaat, dat je of stil blijft staan of achteruit gaat. Stil blijft staan betekent in principe dus dat je op je limiet blijft. Maar als je slechter dan dat bent, dan is er iets niet goed. Uiteindelijk gaat het er dus om zoals Anthony het aangeeft. En hij kan erover praten, hij weet het. Want zowel als zwemmer, als coach, heeft hij beide kanten van de zaak gezien. Je moet dus tenminste je limiet halen of beter worden. Dat is acceptabel. En dan gaat het niet eens om een medaille. Want vaak maken mensen de fout en denken van je moet een medaille halen. Een medaille is niet voor iedereen weggelegd. We hebben dit ook een aantal keren in ons programma besproken. Er zijn duizenden atleten in de wereld en slechts 3 komen in aanmerking voor een medaille. Als je geen medaille haalt, is het geen schande. Kijk maar naar Jair. Hij heeft geen medaille gehaald, maar hij heeft zijn personal best verbeterd en hij zit in de top van de wereld. Dat betekent, hij heeft vooruitgang geboekt. En dit moeten we eigenlijk ook stellen voor onze topsporters. Omdat het moet blijken dat je vooruitgang boekt, maar als je geen vooruitgang boekt, wat is er dan aan de hand? Wat moet er gebeuren om dit te verbeteren? En we moeten geen chipoti mentaliteit gaan opzetten van ja, dit en dat. Maar het gaat om resultaten wanneer je bezig bent met de topsport.